Hello again, everyone. I'm Dr. George Simon, and welcome to another edition of the New Character Matters program. This is the program where we talk about what I consider to be the defining issue of our time, the character crisis that we have faced for several decades now, and that impacts every single aspect of our lives. Today, I want to talk about something really important. I want to expand on some thoughts that I mention in all my books, actually, but more particularly my most recent book, Essentials for the Journey, about the importance of proper socialization to the development of character. You've probably heard the adage, it takes a village. And I understand why some folks might even take some issue with the notion, because nothing is more important to character formation than being bonded to people that you can trust and who you know truly care for you and are well grounded themselves in essential moral principles. It takes that more than anything to help foster good character development in our children. But there's truth to the adage that it takes a village. We need the support of a community that shares crucial values, promotes those values, and rewards adherence to those values. And therein lies the problem for our character-impaired age. Too many things within modern culture promote egocentricity, hedonism, moral confusion and relativism, and a lot of other things detrimental to the embrace of the principles, the essential principles necessary to forge good character. Worse, some aspects of modern culture and society encourage poor character development and even reward it. So it's natural for folks to be weary. Developing sound character is a painstaking process, and it's painstaking enough, difficult enough, even in the best of social milieus. But it's particularly harrowing in a culture steeped in a sense of entitlement, hedonism, instant gratification, unsure of its own core principles, and promoting certain principles that are inherently at odds with the development of good character. So it's natural that folks should be weary. And it's understandable that we are where we are with respect to the character crisis that we have faced for so many years now. I've said this before, so I'll say it again. We have always had our character-related problems. We human beings don't come by character automatically. The principles that contribute to sound character have to be learned over time, taught, modeled, encouraged, reinforced, expected. And all those things have changed over time. So while we've always had our character-related problems, they have gotten so much worse because of the cultural climate. And that's why it's not enough to say that it takes a village. It does take a village. The question is, what kind of village? What kind of social milieu? What kind of atmosphere? What kind of society do we want to have as a partner in the process of building good character, reinforcing good character? And as I've mentioned before, a classic vicious cycle has been going on for decades now, whereas more and more and more character-impaired people populate the society, then those aspects of society that used to better promote character development in people have eroded, become increasingly corrupted. And as that has happened, it produces more and more character impaired individuals, and vice versa, and vice versa. It's an endless vicious cycle that's been going on for some time now. And it's brought us to this point where almost all human problems can be traced to this character crisis that we have faced for so long. Now, there was a time not too long ago, especially within the medical community, there was a movement to discredit, even challenge the whole notion of character being an issue. Everything, we were told, is a matter of biochemistry. Personality itself, character itself, these are false constructs, so the saying went back in those times. Everything was a matter of biochemistry and chemical imbalances in the brain. And we could design drugs and other measures that would correct for these imbalances, and then people would be just fine. But we now realize what foolish thinking that was. But it was dominant at one point. There was a concerted effort to take the focus off character, and even a lot of effort to discredit it as a completely false notion. But as anyone who has weathered a relationship with a character-impaired individual knows, whether that person be on the narcissism spectrum or some other character disturbance spectrum, as any of those toxic relationship survivors know. Character is real. Character impairments are commonplace. They're the cause of a lot of human misery. And just like the title of this program asserts, more than anything, character matters. It's those who have had to weather the scourge that understand how much it matters. So the only question remains, what do we have to do to restore it? The first question to answer is, what do we have to do to restore character to its rightful place of importance in our lives, to make it the focus of our efforts, to bring it to the fore of our consciousness, to make it matter again to all of us, to take it seriously? And then what do we have to do to reclaim, rediscover, re-embrace, and to discern the principles that can help instill it, the principles that will encourage it, and the social structures that will reward it? We have work to do. Now, it's also important to mention that when it comes to character matters, there are still too many misconceptions out there. A lot of those misconceptions promoted by well-meaning mental health professionals. But I have confidence that in time, those tried and true principles that have been with us throughout the ages, that we have long forgotten about, but that still exist, those time-tested principles of what it takes to make of us all that we can be, not only still exist, but can be reclaimed, rediscovered, re-embraced. And that's what I dedicate my professional career to, even in retirement. It's not just that I know how much character matters. It's that I also know, by having borne personal witness time and time and time again that character can be promoted. People can grow. We can change things just the same way that things got the way they are, slowly, incrementally, one heart at a time. Embracing, promoting, rewarding, expecting the same timeless principles of operation that at times in our history have helped us forge wholesome relationships and sound environments. We've had those periods off and on. We've always had our problems, but we've had better days, and we'll have them again once we pay attention and make it our business to reclaim and re-embrace those timeless principles that have the potential to help us be all that we can be. I have more to say about this in the current article on my blog at drgeorgesimon.com, your resource for hundreds of timely articles on character matters. And I invite you to tune in again next time for another edition of the New Character Matters. And I will be having some announcements in the coming weeks about some big changes that are afoot with regard to podcast platforms, a complete redesign of the program, and a few other things. But before I do that, I want to say just one brief thing, because I get comments all the time, and I feel that I need to explain a couple of things. For years, I have been struggling with a unique kind of vocal cord dysfunction. And sometimes we have taken some technical measures to help correct for the fact that during a program, I might lose my voice entirely, or it might become so raspy that you can barely understand me. In fact, it's getting a little raspy right now, but I'm not making any attempt to correct for that. But I consider the message that I'm sincerely dedicated to important. So we're constantly exploring some new possibilities to help minimize the dysfunction that I struggle with and to help make the message that I so sincerely want to carry come through loud and clear. So I appreciate you tuning in. And once again, until next time, I thank you for all the support. And we'll talk again on the next edition of the New Character Matters. Until then, I'm Dr. George Simon. Take care.